Most of the feedback I've been getting is that the game looks great, but it seems a little bit too complicated for the average person. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can start playing 10 minutes after you open the box with this, just watching this video or maybe another one alone. You can start playing from the 20-yard line and have 4 downs, get in the end zone, and have quick scoring with just the blue team, which is the home team, will go, have its drive, have 4 downs, get as far as it can go. Even if it gets just 10, 20, 30, 40 yards, you'll score it up here. And then the red team starts at their 20. That's what these referee markers are for. There's one here. Tells you where you start the game. And then it has 4 downs to get to the other side and to see how many. So if this guy got 30 and then this guy got 40, the red team would obviously win. That's 4 downs each. That's 1 drive inning. Both the blue team, the home team, and the red team, the visitor team, had 1 turn at offense. 1 drive with 4 downs, 1 drive inning. If they're equal, then you can call it a tie and go out for watch a ball game, or you can continue to play a drive inning. The home team, the visitor team goes at the end of their 4 downs. Then you see how far who's ever ahead wins. Typically, you would continue playing until you reach 100 yards, which is a game touchdown, and that will take you about less than a half an hour to play, even if you're a beginner. So let's start off at 0, and I'll explain the rules as we go along, just like everybody does with every other game, okay? This is the beginner rules with 5 linemen and 4 backs. So typically the offense always, the offense lines up first, and you can even put them at a sort of an angle, and I'll explain why. They're always facing the quarterback, and you can see there's little grooves in the lineman. It's not a perfect rectangle. There's little grooves here for when it's at an angle. It would be straight if it's directly on this line of the quarterback, right? On the same row. These are rows and these are lanes. This is vertical and this is horizontal when you hear me refer to it. So you can start off like this as the offense. The home team is blue. This is a sportsman-like game, so even before this, the home team is the person who owns the game, who brought the game. They offer the visiting team, would you like to be red or blue? By default, the visiting team is red, so we'll keep that over here. Then the home team will ask the visiting team, would you like to go left to right or right to left? Visiting team say, fine with me, let's go left to right, and we'll because they're gonna wanna go left to right too. You can play as little as 1 drive inning, like I said, and then see how far you get. But typically you'd want to play with the beginner rules, until someone reaches 100 yards, 100 points, which is 1 game touchdown. So they can start off even with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 player pieces on the line of scrimmage. Here you can see the blue yard marker, keeping track of the line of scrimmage, and the red team on the other side, or they can be sitting right next to you, doesn't matter where you sit, keeps track of the line of scrimmage as well. So this is the way they start. Then, once the offense sets up their pieces, the defense has 4 backs, and it could also pull back their linemen, but typically you don't want to because you want to attack the quarterback with them. They can move back 1, by the way, but they cannot move 2. This is the field of play. This is only for backs. defensive lineman can only go back one, just like in regular professional football. And they go two forward and one back, and they go two sideways back and forth. All right, and we won't talk about the star lineman until our next video later because it's not so important. I might bring it in to make a point. And typically the lineman can go two forward or one, two sideways, any direction, horizontally or vertically. They can go two forward and only one back. So you can just think of it, the lineman can go two in any direction, but only one backwards. Same thing here. They can go two in any direction, but only backwards one. And these guys can go back, back, back as far as they want. No restrictions. And the backs, so there's two types of players, the linemen and the backs, which are triangular shape. They do have a little wedge also, but they're not usually involved in blocks, but sometimes they are. They go three forward, one, two, three, and two sideways. They're here, they go one, two sideways, horizontally, in any direction, two sideways, and two back, one, but think, when I say three forward and two back, I'm talking only vertically. Forget about the diagonals. One, two back, or one, two back, or one, two back, okay? And when I say three forward, I mean one, two, three, or one, two, three, or just go 1, 2, 3. And this is not a block, by the way, when they're both in the same grid on this side of the line of scrimmage. This is the no block zone. This is the block zone. If they were here, then this defensive back would not be able to exit this block in this direction. And we're going to talk about blocks in just a second, because that is very important to this game. So now you understand they can go three forward and two back. At the same time, let's say his range is to go 1, 2, 3. He can go from here to there. He doesn't need to go 1, 2, 3 horizontal and vertical. That's just his range. He can go one diagonal and one forward, and that'll just take two to get there. Same thing if he's going here. Even if he's going here, 1, 2, 3, he can go up one and over 1, 2, 1, 2. So it only takes him two. If the defensive back is blocking him either here or here from going three straight, he can go 1 and 2 over there like that. Even across the line of scrimmage, he can go 1 and 2 over there. But the defensive back did slow him down because he didn't go 1, 2, 3. He wants to be here. So he did slow him down 1 yard. By the way, this is really a 10-yard field. It's a simulation of a 100-yard field. The yard markers are what you would expect, and we even use the scoring by using these yard markers. But technically, this is really a simulation, and the actual yard, here you can see 1 through 10 yards. This is a 10-yard field. You can tell by the size of the players and the size of the end zone. This is about 10, 20, 30, like the 40-yard line. So just less than half, and about less than half across, okay? So in the future, we'll have a larger mat for people who want to play full size, but then you'll have 3 dice, and let's just worry about this game right now, okay? So this is how you would start. And for your defense, you have 4. You can, so the offense lined up, and the defense, you might want to have 1 pass rusher over here. And then you might want to give him plenty of room to run because you're more concerned about him getting the big yards and probably getting behind you. And the same thing over here, you can come here and you can have a safety if you want to play it really safe. Kind of gives him an opportunity to pass the ball underneath, if that's your strategy. If you're more of a blitzer, you might want to slow him down, and then, so this guy would have to go around, this guy would have to go around, so he loses 1 yard or 10 yards, depending on your perspective. And then this guy and this guy can go and start attacking the quarterback. So it's just your own strategy, okay? So in this case, we're going to play it safe and give him plenty of room to run. The offensive back is going to be able to go 1, 2, 3. And this defensive back can rush the quarterback. And we'll take it from there, okay? So you understand about when I say 3 forward, it means horizontal and vertical. 2 back, same thing. 1 and 2. And 1 and 2. And then you can also use a shortcut, like you can just come 1 back diagonally like that. Or you can go 1, 2. So you can pretty much go forward 2 directions using only 2 and reach your range, except if you're going straight, which is where you really want to go. 1, 2, 3. You want to get to the end zone and complete a pass. Obviously, that's what the point of the game is. We're not going to cover basic football in any of these tutorials. Just the rules of this game and how it works. So, and then also, what the linemen can do, they and the backs can do this also, but it's usually happening at the line. On the offense's first roll, which I think we're going to start in this next video because this one is getting too long, just giving you the basic rules. The next video, we're going to pick up right where we left off. He can push, let's say the offense rolls, he gets a 5 and a 2, a 7. He can go 1, 2. Keep in mind the blue team, the home team is going, the offense, and he can push them, and you can see how, if you orient them correctly, you can see how he's making a nice typical V-shaped pocket. And he's allowed to do that. And if the defensive lineman comes back up here, then they're in a block, even though he's on this side of the line. Blocks are typically on this side of the line of scrimmage, but also when they're for the linemen between the hash marks, it's also on this first row right here, okay? So you might want to do that. And for the defense, might want to do, let's take this guy out of the equation, put him over there. If he comes 1, 2 on his first roll, then he can has to exit the block, and I want to talk about that before we exit this video and start playing the game. If he's here, this offensive lineman is blocking this spot right here. So this defensive lineman cannot go here, period. That is the meaning of the block. However, he does have a half a block here and a half a block here. So he can exit this block through the half a block, but he cannot turn. He cannot go 1, 2. Remember, that's the spot this offensive line is really protecting. But he can go 1, 2 straight this way. He could go 1, 2 straight this way, but this guy, if there's someone on the left, you can just draw a line between them. If he's here, well, if he's here, you can go from block to block, by the way. That's fine. If he's here, then he is also blocking this, so together he can't get here. But back here, he's not connected at all. You can't draw a line across there. It doesn't matter. So yes, he can go 1, 2. He can exit that block if there is no help on this side. If he's way back here. If he's here, he cannot exit there. It's just common sense. It's kind of intuitive. You can just see the line. All right. We do have mathematical calculations for the advanced college and pro levels. We can do 1x and 1/2 x. But for the beginner rule, it's just if someone's next to you, you can see clearly you cannot exit that direction. And what else can you do? Now, but let's say you're rushing from this side and you have a block over here, and what you can do is you can push. There's no restrictions on pushing. You can, let's say you did, the offense did that. Now it's the defense's turn. The defensive lineman can push him 1, 2, and then run the defensive back 1, 2, 3. And he's about to sack him on the next turn. And the offense is going to have to deal with that. And of course, if the quarterback was sitting there thinking he's all safe, the defensive lineman can push 1, 2, and then go 1, 2, 3, sack the quarterback. Conversely, it can go the other way. You can go 1, 2. You can go here, hand the ball off. So that would be 2, hand the ball off. And now once he's handed off, he gets another 3 to go forward. 4, so I'm sorry. That was 1, 2, 3. Handing off the balls 4, 5, 6, 7. And now he's crossed the line of scrimmage. Again, it's just like regular football. And now the entire field is the block zone. There is no block zone. Everything is a block now. But regardless of how they're positioned, the blocks are always relative to the quarterback. Even though the red defensive lineman is here, once the ball has turned over here, you can turn them around in your mind, or physically you can turn them, because the offensive lineman, the back of the offensive lineman is always facing, the center back is facing the ball. This would be the left back. This would be the left back. This would be the right back, because this offensive lineman is facing that direction. Now, if the quarterback ran here, then you can move them here if it helps you visualize. But after a while, you'll see, you just get used to it. Then he's protecting. This is the center back. This is one full block. The defensive lineman cannot go here, but he can go here in a straight line. 1, 2, or here, 1, 2, in a straight line. Okay? And that's the way most of the blocking you're going to be facing works. And now you also see how a handoff is made. We're going to play a game, and we're just going to, see what happens. But I wanted you to see how the game is, how the rules, the basic rules. Now, that's really most of the rules. I just went over most of the rules that you need to know to start playing. So I don't see why that's so difficult for people to understand at the beginner level. Maybe it's the passing. Well, if you come out here and the defense is able to cover the pass, let's take a second ball and throw it. You can use a second ball, or you can use the holder. Doesn't matter, but you definitely want to leave the quarterback here with the original ball, because all the blocks, if they're in a state of blocks, are still relative to the quarterback, even when the defense goes, because as far as they know, the ball has been thrown. If the ball's not, they don't know where the ball is. It's in the air. Okay, so he's covering the ball here, and then he would challenge. So that's an important rule I want to get in on this video. So you know the pushing, and you know the movement, and you know the blocking. Those are the key things. That's all you really need to understand about the beginner level rules. And they apply to college and pro, of course. But this is a little different. In the college and pro levels, it's an automatic incompletion, okay? No chance to challenge. And I'm not even going to talk about those. So don't let me digress. You got to stop me when I do that. But here, if you're trying to throw it to him, to this offensive back or receiver, wide receiver, you can call him. As far as the game is concerned, he's just an offensive back. All the backs, we don't care about running. If they're running the ball or they're wide receiver, they're just offensive backs. So that's wrong, the wording I'm going to use. And that these are just defensive backs. We don't care if they're being used as safeties or defensive backs or whatever. So now, but he's covered, and then he gets the big challenge. The big challenge has mostly red incompletes and only 2 completes. And one of the reds is an interception. So if you land on the same spot, you are forced, the offense is, to roll. The offense must roll the big challenge, right? If you reach this spot, now pay attention here. If they're in the same lane, these are pass sector lanes. I want to explain to you the yellow lines here, why they are there, and the hash marks combined with these yellow lines make a pass sector lane. So there's 3 pass sector lanes, and the reason why that's important is if you're throwing to another back in the same lane, then you have 3 spots. Well, this would be your main challenge, and then you have, this is your next challenge. It has 3 completes and 3 incompletes, and this star means it's complete, and you get to run. You roll again, and you run. If the rolls an interception, then the red offensive team gets the roll again and run automatically. But if the offense rolls a complete, he's tackled, but the ball's complete. So you just move everybody over here. He passed the midfield line, so now that would be the new line of scrimmage. But first you have to roll the challenge. If the defensive back gets to the same spot, he uses the big challenge. If he gets to this center spot, again, that means anywhere between the hash marks and hash marks included. If he gets in the center here, then he gets the medium size challenge, which is 50-50, complete and incomplete. And if he's in this pass sector lane over, it's all relative. So if this was over there and he was there, then it would be the same rules here. I think I just confused you, but if he comes here, if he's on this sector lane left of the quarterback, then this would be the spot of the next challenge, the medium-sized challenge. And let me see if I have another. There's only 3 challenge dice. The big one with the interception on there, the medium size, which is 50-50. And then this is you can call this a pity challenge. It's like you get close, but you didn't get a good challenge. So most of these are completes. There's only 2 incompletes, but you still have a chance to challenge him. Actually, I think the better way to remember it, that's more average would be, these are the good. So this is spot A, this is spot B, 50-50, and this spot C, very advantageous for the offense. So if the defense is here, he gets the little challenge. The offense has to roll the challenge dice and die. And if he's here, he gets the medium. And if he's in the same space as the receiver, then he gets the big challenge, which is 4 incompletes, and one of those are an interception, only 2 completes. And he must roll this. He must roll this. He doesn't have the option. All right. So the beginner rules are more geared towards challenging dice, and adds a little bit of luck, so you don't have to worry too much about exactly which challenge you're going to have, or declining challenges and all that complexity. The challenges are mandatory, and if the red's here, he gets the big one. If the red, the defense reaches this spot, it's there. And if the red reaches one of these 2 spots, it would be here. If the quarterback is throwing from the same pass sector lane, then these 3 spots would be right in front of him, regardless of which pass sector lane you're in. And that's all the basic beginner rules you need to know. So then we're going to play a beginner game using 5 from scratch, and then we'll review the rules as we go along. But I think I covered pretty much all the beginner rules you need to know: the challenging for the pass, and the running, and the setup. So thank you very much, and let's watch the next part of this video to see this game in action. We're going to have 4 downs across here and count as many yards as we can using the big white yard markers. All right, thank you very much.